On New Year's Day, I received an invitation to a high school reunion. When I arrived, I was stunned to find that everyone present was someone who had bullied me. Iris, the former campus belle, held a glass of wine, her eyes scrutinizing me. "I hear you're writing novels now. Your annual income must be around 1 or 2 million, right?" I nodded indifferently. "Something like that." Surprise flickered across her face. I sighed, clarifying, "Just kidding." Her expression softened. "Haha, of course you're kidding. How could it be so little? I just sold the adaptation rights for 2 of my novels to a film crew." Just then, an old high school friend I hadn't seen in years unexpectedly invited me to a class reunion. But when I arrived, I was stunned to realize that all the people present were the very ones who had bullied me back in the day. The one who invited me was none other than the class president from high school. As I pushed open the door and stepped in, his gaze was fixed on Iris, the class belle. I heard she went to film school after the college entrance exam, and now, seeing her again, she looked even more beautiful. When she saw me, the smile on her lips faltered for a moment. The class president walked over, pulled me to an empty seat, and chuckled enthusiastically. "The famous writer actually came. What an honor." As he spoke, he gestured for Iris to sit beside me, then excitedly asked, "Look, do you recognize anyone?" I glanced around coldly, my voice devoid of emotion. "Of course I do. Even if they turned to ash, I'd still recognize them." The class president's smile instantly froze. He stammered, "Vivian, I invited you today so everyone could reconnect. You haven't attended any reunions for years. It was like you disappeared, so I cut him off, my eyes sharp. "Why didn't I attend, don't you know?" The class president fell silent. Iris scoffed softly, her voice sharp. "Vivian, you don't need to be so aggressive." The class president only had good intentions. Good intentions? I scoffed. Good intentions to the point of tricking me into believing only a few close friends would be here. But when the door opened, I saw the whole gang who bullied me all those years ago. Is that what you call good intentions? It feels more like deliberate revenge. I raised an eyebrow, looking directly at Iris, the ringleader of the bullies back then, and calmly replied, "This good intention of yours, do you want it?" The atmosphere in the room immediately became awkward. Everyone's eyes were fixed on me. In high school, if I ever displeased Iris, her gang would corner me in the restroom in the freezing winter. They'd douse me with buckets of cold water, leaving me drenched, shivering, and barely able to drag myself back to class. I once found my writing inspiration notebook torn to shreds. The boys who always fawned over her would pick up passages about emotions from it, stand on the desk, and read them aloud to the entire class. The mocking laughter echoed like an unforgettable humiliation. Back then, the class president was one of the few who showed kindness, even advising me not to succumb to school violence. Perhaps that's why I agreed to come today. But now, here he was, one arm around Iris's shoulder, saying to me intimately, "It's all in the past. We were just kids back then, didn't know any better. Don't hold a grudge." Don't hold a grudge? What more could I say? I offered a faint, dismissive smile, not bothering to reply. Iris shot me a triumphant look, swirling the wine in her glass, then smiled and asked, "Vivian, I hear you're writing novels these days. Annual income must be around 1 to 2 million, right?" I replied curtly, "Perhaps." I just wanted to end the conversation, but her expression instantly changed. I was all too familiar with that look. Back then, whenever she wore it, I knew trouble was brewing, my bag thrown in the trash, my desk covered in ink. There was no prank she wouldn't think of. The air grew stifling. I sighed, not wanting to prolong it. "I'm just kidding. How could it be that much?" Iris's expression softened. She took a sip of wine, then deliberately spoke loudly. "In high school, we read all your writing. To earn millions with that level of skill, you're just talking nonsense, aren't you?" I smiled. "You're right, I'm just kidding. How could it be so little? The film rights alone that I just sold were over 10 million. The class president came over again, raising his glass in a toast. "I heard you're doing really well in film and television. Iris is graduating from film school this year. Do you know anyone in a film crew? Could you introduce her?" What was he thinking? She was the one who bullied me. I'd have to be insane to help her. I replied curtly, "I'm just a small-time scriptwriter. I don't have decision-making power. Besides, I'm not a producer or an investor. How could I recommend an actress?" "You're giving me too much credit." My words made the class president frown unhappily. "Why are you talking like that? We're all old friends." I responded firmly, "No need." Iris slammed her wine glass down, her voice acrid. "Just a little bit of fame, and you're already so arrogant and conceited. A mediocre scriptwriter like you is probably just a low-level staff member on set, not even enough for 2 boxed lunches. What's there to be so cocky about?" I silently sipped my fruit juice. She continued to mock, the class president standing beside her, deliberately ignoring it all. This reunion is over, I thought, finding an excuse to leave. But as I reached the door, Iris grabbed my arm. She placed her hand on my shoulder, patted it twice, and sneered, "Vivian, you were just an ant beneath my feet back then. Nothing's changed in all these years." I stopped. That's right. This is the Iris I once knew, vicious, sharp, and utterly arrogant. She whispered into my ear, "Don't be too arrogant. You know director Hugh Tin's new film is about to start shooting, right? I'm the lead actress. So no matter how well you write, it's useless. In the end, I'll be the famous one. You're just a stepping stone for me." Back home, I saw a WeChat group message. The first image was Iris in her film costume, with the caption, "Director Hugh Tin's new film. I'm the lead actress. What do you all think?" Flattery immediately flooded in. "Amazing goddess. You're definitely going to be famous." "Yes, director Hugh Tin's films are always high quality. Everyone is a huge success." Iris responded with a shy emoji. "Just lucky." But then, sarcastic comments started appearing. "Look how humble she is, unlike asterisks and people who wrote a few mediocre books and got all arrogant and unpleasant at the reunion, haha. I hear those small-time scriptwriters on set only earn a few thousand a month, even less than programmers." Someone deliberately dug up my old pen name, mocking my first 2 books. Clumsy writing style, boring stories, no different from cheap novels at old bookstalls. I just found it amusing. After all these years, their tactics were still the same. I had abandoned that old pen name long ago. It's common for many authors to use multiple pen names. And currently, my most well-known name is Autumn Wood. Ironically, the film Iris was about to star in was an adaptation of a book by Autumn Wood, in other words, written by me. To make matters even more ironic, it was a story about school violence. Did someone who was once a bully really deserve to play the lead role in my asterisk work? If I let her actually participate, that would be my fault. Just then, Editor Chen, the chief editor, texted me to ask about the contract signing schedule with Hugh Tin tomorrow. I replied decisively, "I don't want to sell that book anymore. Cancel the signing." Editor Chen immediately called, but I didn't answer. A few minutes later, she texted, "Hugh Tin offered a very high price. The company values this project greatly. I heard they've already started preparing the entire film crew and cast. Why are you suddenly canceling?" I calmly typed 2 sentences into the chat box and sent them, because I don't like the lead actress they chose. The next day, I received news that the contract had been signed. Editor Chen, the chief editor, called, her voice urgent. "I know selling the rights requires your prior consent, as clearly stated in the contract. But the contract also has a clause. If the other party offers a price 50% higher than the market standard, the company has the right to fully represent you." This time, Hugh Tin was willing to pay double the previous price. Who could refuse that? She continued to explain, "Vivian, it's not that the company doesn't respect your opinion, but the price they offered is truly too high. Everyone discussed it, and the company will only take 30% of the excess. The remaining 8 million yuan is entirely yours. The copyright market is so sluggish these days. If we miss a partner willing to pay this much, where will we find another? Double the old price, that's over 20 million yuan. Wow, they really are big spenders." After hanging up, I immediately texted those big spenders my father. I asked, "Dad, do you know that our department's film project spent over 20 million to buy the rights to a novel?" My father immediately flew into a rage. "What ridiculous novel dares to demand over 20 million? I replied calmly, "The one I wrote." After graduating from university, I didn't want to rely on my father's prestige to join his film company, so I applied to a media company on my own. Honestly, my colleagues in the editorial department treated me very well, and transferring my book's copyright through their company had never been an issue. My father then advised, "Since it's signed, just let it be. It's a difficult time for the film industry. Selling the rights is already lucky." A big company like Hugh Tin must have calculated carefully. Besides, most of the money still goes into your pocket, just from one hand to the other. Let it go. He also added, "I just asked. This film script is also assigned to your company to manage. Didn't you once say you wanted to understand the operational process of a film project? Tell editor Chen to bring you into the crew. You can also supervise to prevent your novel from being horrendously altered." Hearing this, I thought it was a great idea. I immediately contacted editor Chen. She not only agreed, but also reminded me that my original author identity would not be disclosed. Soon after, the film held its launch ceremony. I followed editor Chen, under the guise of a scriptwriting intern, to join the crew. Iris certainly didn't expect to run into me on the very first day of shooting. When I saw her, she was intimately linked arm-in-arm with a pot-bellied middle-aged man, Director Wang. "Thank you, Director Wang, for this opportunity. I promise I won't disappoint you," she pouted adorably. During the commemorative photo session, Iris clung to the man, leaning her body against him. I immediately recognized the man called Director Wang as Wang Ba, the project director of Hugh Tin. After the photos, Iris turned and our eyes accidentally met. Her eyebrows immediately furrowed. "Vivian, why are you here?" Iris glared at me, her eyes scanning me from head to toe, seemingly trying to guess what I had seen and how much I knew. Her gaze flickered to the staff ID badge around my neck, then she asked, half suspicious, half contemptuous, "Your staff on this film? A scriptwriter?" I nodded indifferently, "Yes." Her expression instantly changed, but when I added, "Just a scriptwriting intern," she let out a sigh of relief. The expression on her face shifted to clear disdain. How pathetic. After all these years, still just an intern? I shrugged, bowing my head with a faint smile. "Yes, that's right." "How can I compare to you?" Iris frowned, her voice full of sarcasm. "Vivian, don't try to provoke me. Still an intern after all this time proves there's something wrong with your abilities. You should humbly learn from others, drop that baseless arrogance. This is society, not school. No one will tolerate you." I looked up, meeting her gaze directly. "Or perhaps you should worry about yourself first?" Iris's face darkened. She pointed a long, sharp fingernail directly at me, her voice sharp. "What do you mean? Do you mean I'm not capable of playing the lead role in this film?" She jutted out her chin defiantly. "You should remember I'm the female lead of this film. You'd best write the script properly. If you mess things up, I'll have you fired on the spot. Believe it or not." Believe it? I absolutely believe it, I thought. If she truly had the guts to fire the original author, that would indeed be worthy of my applause. Just then, Director Wang, the project director, walked over, frowning. "Iris, what's all the commotion about?" Iris immediately changed her tone, pouting coyly. "Director Wang, this is my high school classmate. We had a little misunderstanding back then, and now she's saying I don't deserve to play the lead role." Director Wang shot me a disdainful glance. "I thought it was someone important. Turns out it's just a small-time scriptwriter. Why bother with her? Focus on your acting." Then he turned to me and ordered coldly, "Listen here, if you can do the job, do it. If not, get out." Ha, indeed, a powerful investor so authoritative, I thought. I said nothing, simply returned to the office. Inside, Chief Editor Chen was diligently revising the script. She pointed at a photo of Iris on the screen and asked me, "This is the lead actress, right?" I nodded. "Yes, that's right. Why?" Editor Chen pondered, looking at the photo with a slight hesitation. "No wonder you said you didn't like her before. She's pretty, yes, but there's something fierce about her face. It doesn't quite fit the image of a lead actress. She looks more like someone who bullies others." Hearing this, I chuckled, giving her a thumbs up. "You really are perceptive, sis. One look and you see right through her heart." On the very first day of shooting, I went to the set to deliver the newly revised script to the actors. Film scripts often differ from the original novels and frequently require on-the-spot adjustments based on the director's and actors' requests. Especially with director Wang's intervention, many climactic scenes originally intended for the two main characters in Twin Souls, the story of two desolate lives saving each other, were largely shifted to Iris's role. This significantly increased our workload. When I arrived on set, they were filming a crying in the rain scene. The director frowned at the monitor, then loudly yelled, "Cut!" He called Iris over, his voice filled with annoyance. "Your expression is completely wrong. Even if your stepmother drove you out with your good education, you can't make such a distorted expression. And where are your tears? Why can't you cry?" Iris pouted childishly, her voice weak. "Director, it's raining so heavily I can't even open my eyes, or maybe I should just use eye drops." The director immediately frowned so hard it looked like he could crush something, his voice full of dissatisfaction. "Didn't your school teach you basic emotional control?" Iris turned her head away, clearly glaring. After that, the scene was cut so many times that the director became helpless. In the end, they had to resort to eye drops to barely finish shooting. When Iris sat down to rest, I approached, handing her the newly revised script. She took it, glanced through it, then tossed it aside. I reminded her, "Tomorrow's scene has many changes. You should memorize your lines beforehand." Iris crossed her legs, looking at me with annoyance. What's that got to do with you? Mind your own business. Just then, a loud voice called out from afar, Director Wang, you're here. Iris immediately sprang up from her seat, a radiant smile instantly gracing her face. Director Wang, come sit with me. I've been waiting for you. Are you talking about today's shoot? I performed very well. The director even just praised me. Her rapid change in expression stunned me. Looking back at the history of Chinese cinema, perhaps only Bridget Lin and Maggie Cheung could compare, and that would be at their peak. But Iris's performance was erratic, sometimes reaching the top, sometimes plummeting to the bottom. So, this was what Film Academy education was all about. Director Wang chuckled heartily, walked over, and possessively wrapped an arm around Iris's waist. Really? Well, you must act well. Our film is counting on it to make money. I've poured so much money into this. He then turned, continuing in a chiding tone. Speaking of which, a few days ago, the author of this novel, I don't know what happened, we were discussing everything smoothly, then suddenly she said she didn't want to sign anymore. I had to pay double the price to get the rights. Iris gave a charming laugh, her eyes sparkling with cunning. Director Wang is so generous. These novel writers are all so greedy. They probably wanted to take advantage and make a little extra, right? As she spoke, she glanced towards me, her voice seemingly unintentional but full of hidden meaning. Oh, by the way, my old classmate here is also a novel writer. I only just found out she's a scriptwriting intern on this crew. If I'd known sooner, I would have helped her a little. Helped me. I thought, ridiculous. With her personality, not stepping on me would already be lucky. Not wanting to hear her continue to mock me, I quickly distributed the remaining scripts in my hand and promptly left the set. That evening, news of the film's launch slowly climbed the trending search charts. After all, the original work was a renowned IP, and the film adaptation already had considerable buzz. This time, Hugh Tin focused its entire promotional campaign on Iris. The first image released was her poster, accompanied by an attention-grabbing title. Hugh Tin's new film invites new actress Iris to portray a girl of light in the darkness, two bleak lives saving each other. The other twin lead actress was completely relegated to a supporting background. In reality, I had seen her perform on set, and I must say, her acting was much better than Iris's. But unfortunately, Iris had powerful backing. She pressured the film crew, constantly demanding that climactic scenes be transferred to her. Both I and the chief editor were at our wits' end, not knowing what to do. Just then, my phone vibrated twice. I opened it to see a message from the chief editor, simply 4 words, check trending topics quickly. I hurriedly opened Weibo. What greeted me was a headline at the top of the trending list, bully acting in anti-bullying film shameful. The entire film crew seemed to explode. The next morning, as I stepped into my office and sat down, the door was violently flung open with a bang. Iris stormed in, snatched the documents from my hand, sending them scattering across the floor. She pointed a finger directly at me and loudly demanded, "It was you, wasn't it?" I calmly looked up. "It was me, how so?" "That trending topic, were you playing tricks?" I pretended to snap out of it, nodding as if I just understood, then replied curtly, "No, it wasn't." She must have been furious, probably hadn't slept all night. Her eyes were heavily shadowed and her face showed clear fatigue. "Stop beating around the bush," Iris snarled. "You're the one who caused trouble between us before. Now you see I'm about to get famous, so you're jealous and trying to sabotage me, aren't you? I warn you, don't even think about it." Director Wang appeared from behind, his sharp gaze sweeping over me. He frowned, demanding, "How does the scriptwriting department recruit people? This staff member is utterly unprofessional, daring to falsely accuse the lead actress. What's your motive? Demand she writes an apology letter to Iris immediately." Iris immediately seized the opportunity, admitting her jealousy and fabrication. I looked at Editor Chen, asserting, "I have no involvement. I am completely innocent." Iris gritted her teeth, her face pale with rage. "Don't pretend. You think you can defy me?" She stormed to the door, roaring, "Police, get in here." 2 police officers walked in, their cold eyes surveying the room. Iris pointed directly at me, screaming, "She's the one who spread malicious rumors, defaming my reputation. Arrest her immediately. I'll sue her for defamation all the way." A police officer approached me. "Are you Vivian? Please present your ID and phone." Since I hadn't committed any crime, I cooperated and provided the documents. The police checked social media accounts and verified IP login addresses. Iris stood nearby, a mocking smile clearly on her lips. An officer asked, "Did you post any misleading content last night?" "No," I replied firmly. "I only became aware of the matter when the news had already spread widely. I had no involvement." "She's lying," Iris interrupted, her voice shrill. She pointed her finger directly at my face, shouting, "Vivian, you're truly vicious. You saw I was about to get famous, so you deliberately tried to harm me, right? You still resent me for what I did to you in high school, right? But let me tell you, you deserve it, you deserve it." Suddenly, a female officer received a call, her expression grave. She gestured for Iris to be silent. "Wait a moment, it seems things aren't as simple as you think." But Iris continued to attack me like a mad dog. "You know what? I hate people like you the most. Pretending to be righteous. Who are you acting for, you hypocrite? No wonder everyone in class hated you. I truly regret not driving you to the brink with the rest of the class back then." As her venomous words poured out, the female officer's face darkened. She stepped in front of me and sternly warned Iris, "Control yourself. We have the investigation results." Iris's eyes widened. "Well, what are you waiting for? Arrest her." A calm, yet firm female voice spoke up. "We have verified the origin of the post. The IP address does not match the initial suspect. The person who posted it is a former classmate of Ms. Iris from university. She confessed that her actions stemmed from accumulated resentment after years of being bullied by Ms. Iris throughout her university studies." The room fell silent, with only faint breaths audible. Iris froze, her face as pale as a stone statue, seemingly frozen in time. Even Director Wang, who had initially stepped forward to defend her, showed a clear look of awkwardness, his eyes avoiding scrutiny from all sides. It turned out that Iris's bullying behavior had continued not only in high school but even in college, pushing others into despair. Iris's face changed colors repeatedly, from white to flushed red, finally stammering, "I'll sue her." The female police officer closed her recording device, her sharp gaze fixed on Iris, her voice unwavering. "I advise you to reconsider," she continued. "The accuser has provided more evidence of Ms. Iris coercing her roommates to ostracize and isolate the victim. She even stated that you once poured super glue into the victim's water cup, almost causing serious consequences, leading to a reprimand from the entire department. Ms. Iris, do you have any explanation?" Instinctively, Iris weakly retorted, "That was just a misunderstanding. The glue had already solidified, it didn't cause any harm." Her words accidentally became a confession. The space fell silent again, with only heavy sighs. All eyes were on Iris, surprise and indignation clearly visible on every face. The police turned to the director and film crew, their tone serious. "I advise you to proactively handle this media crisis. If you continue with litigation, the risk of more evidence being released is even higher, which will severely impact the film." Iris completely collapsed. The evidence held by the accuser seemed to be more than just a few isolated pieces. After regaining her composure, she desperately clutched Director Wang's hand, her voice trembling. "Director Wang, things aren't what you think. She's so hateful. Everyone in the room hates her." But Director Wang was still reeling from the truth that had been exposed. Time seemed to stand still until he slowly patted Iris's hand and finally spoke. "All right, focus on filming for the next few days. I'll take care of the rest." The air was heavy, leaving the lingering aftermath of a shocking scandal. The responsibility of resolving the fallout from the lead actress weighed heavily on Director Wang's shoulders, especially since she was an artist he was trying to promote. Iris, looking pale, was escorted away, signaling a stalled day of filming. The director decided to give the crew a break to regain their spirits after the unexpected incident. Editor Chen and I tidied up the chaotic office, and she couldn't help but exclaim, "That was a drama more captivating than any novel." After a long day of deliberation, Director Wang and the production team came up with a crisis management plan. They decided to change Iris's role, transforming her from a savior into a victim of school violence. However, Wang Ba had not given up on Iris. He planned to exploit the character's remorseful side to garner audience sympathy, simultaneously rehabilitating her image and leveraging it to promote the film. The plan was announced with Wang Ba's smug self-satisfaction, as if he had found the perfect solution. After the role adjustment, Iris became more compliant. At least, she made an effort to memorize her lines before arriving on set. I occasionally visited the set, witnessing the director's difficulties working with her. Even with the changed role, the director was still dissatisfied with Iris's acting, constantly yelling, "Cut! Iris, your character comes from a poor background, always carrying an inferiority complex from being bullied. Her initial reaction is to endure," the director instructed. Iris pouted. "I am enduring, I'm not fighting back." The director looked at the monitor and shook his head. You're not fighting back, but your eyes are full of murderous intent. I suggest you learn from Selene. She portrays the character's psychology very well. Iris's face darkened, her dissatisfaction clearly visible. I understood her mood perfectly. The change in her role meant that the important scenes, originally designed to highlight her, now belonged to other actors. She was being cleared out for others to shine. To protect Iris, director Wang even went to the scriptwriting team, demanding further script revisions, but he was flatly refused by chief editor Chen and the director. Revising it again and again is too time-consuming. In the end, I fear this film won't be completed. The current script is very reasonable, and Selene is acting exceptionally well. Further revisions might not achieve the same effect as now. Ultimately, the film crew's shooting schedule was very tight. No one could waste time. Every delayed day meant burning money, forcing director Wang to concede. Nevertheless, Iris's situation wasn't easily settled. Online, a segment of netizens continued to call for a boycott of her and the film. At this point, director Wang came up with another brilliant idea. He approached editor Chen and expressed his desire. Why don't you contact the original author, Autumn Wood, and ask her to speak up for Iris? Tell her to say that she agrees to give Iris a chance and supports her participation in this film. Editor Chen, after hearing Wang Ba's plan, quickly glanced at me, her expression as if to say, how can someone be so shameless as to make such a request? But Wang Ba was completely oblivious to her nuanced expression and continued to babble on with a self-satisfied air. Autumn Wood is the original author. If even she speaks up in support of Iris, I believe that readers and netizens will stop criticizing. Indeed, what a genius. Editor Chen frowned, finding it awkward to respond. About this, teacher Autumn Wood usually doesn't speak up for such matters. But Wang Ba paid no attention to her tone, speaking with an air of obvious certainty. That's why you need to go and ask her. How much money have we poured into this project? Surely she can help with this small matter. From a distance, I couldn't help but shake my head. Editor Chen's gaze flickered to me, and instantly Wang Ba also noticed. Perhaps feeling embarrassed by being witnessed begging by an intern, he angrily roared, "What are you standing there for? Nothing to do, are you?" I calmly replied, "I've finished today's script." He wasn't letting go. "Finished? Then go to the props team and move those apple crates. Honestly, it's unbearable. We're feeding so many idle people here who can't do anything worthwhile, just standing around all day with their eyes glazed over." I nodded silently, left the room, and headed towards the set to help the props team move apple crates. Just as I arrived, I heard the director discussing director Wang's plan. It's worth a try, actually. At least it might make netizens stop attacking the film crew. Another voice spoke up, but the problem is we can't contact Autumn Wood. I hear she rarely makes appearances, doesn't even attend new book launches. The director chuckled, his face full of confidence. Actually, yesterday I asked some friends in the industry and got her contact number. Director Wang appeared out of nowhere, eagerly urging, "Call her now, I'm dying of impatience." Annoyed, the director reluctantly took out his phone and dialed the number. Just then, a phone on a nearby table rang. I was passing by, carrying apple crates. The phone rang a second time. I kept walking, still carrying the crates. When it rang a third time, the director looked at the phone on the table, surprised. Why isn't anyone answering? Director Wang lost his temper, shouting, "Who has their phone volume so high? Annoying everyone, go turn it off." I put the apple crates down, picked up the phone from the table, leaned over, pressed answer, and said, "Hello, who is calling?" The director immediately jumped up, his voice full of excitement. "Hello, are you teacher Autumn Wood?" Director Wang almost plastered his ear to the phone, listening intently. I softly replied, "Yes, that's me." The director joyfully explained, "It's like this, I'm the director of the film produced by Hugh Tin. I know you're very busy right now, but I have something I'd like to discuss with you. Do you have some time?" I called several times, but no one answered. I chuckled lightly. I was busy with my hands just now, so I couldn't answer." "Oh, are you writing a book?" I turned my head to look at the director, smiling. "No, I'm carrying apple crates, don't you see?" As I spoke, I held up the hand holding the phone and waved it at them from afar, causing the entire film crew to stand silently for a few seconds before becoming completely bewildered. All eyes on the film crew simultaneously focused on me. As for director Wang's expression, it was as if he had seen a ghost. And understandably so, because not long ago, he had been constantly yelling at me, sometimes telling me to get out, sometimes scolding me, and even loudly cursing because I hadn't turned off my phone. His face changed every shade from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, to violet, like a vibrant color palette dancing before everyone's eyes. Amidst the stunned gazes of the crowd, I quietly finished moving the last 2 apple crates without saying a word. Immediately, the director and Director Wang rushed over, each grabbing one of my arms, escorting me into a nearby meeting room. Why grabbing? Because both of them held my arms tightly, as if afraid I would run away, making me look no different than a captured criminal. As soon as we entered the meeting room, Director Wang immediately reiterated his request. His intention was still the same. He wanted me to publicly support Iris to calm public opinion, reassure fans and netizens. In stark contrast to his earlier frowning face, he now appeared incredibly cordial, smiling and speaking obsequiously. After all, you two are old classmates. Help her out this one time. Oh, this phrase sounded so familiar. We're all old classmates, try to help a little. We're all old classmates, help her out just this once. The 3 words old classmates were truly conveniently used, to the point where even what she had done to me could be easily erased. I flatly refused. No, I don't agree. My voice was calm but firm. I can give her an opportunity, which is for her to use her own abilities to perform well in her current role. As for other matters like speaking out in support or helping her clear her image, I'm sorry, I cannot do that. I paused, looking directly into his eyes, emphasizing each word, unless you change the actress. Director Wang angrily slammed his hand on the table, his voice sharp. You need to understand who the producer is. Your novel's copyright is currently in our hands. Whoever I say to cast, that's who will be cast. I folded my arms across my chest and casually shrugged. Did I forbid you from casting anyone? You're free to cast whoever you like. It's just that what you just asked, I cannot do. Director Wang shot me a contemptuous glance, his voice icy. You may be the original author, but frankly, you're just a hired writer. Don't get ahead of yourself and be ungrateful. You've taken so much money from us, and you won't even help with such a small matter? You have no professional ethics at all? I calmly looked at him, smiling, and replied, Between us is a legal copyright transaction with a clear contract. If taking money means I have to do whatever you say, then that's called a mafia. My words choked Director Wang. He gritted his teeth, trying to maintain his composure, but still let out a warning. This film, after all, is adapted from your novel. If you refuse to cooperate, and your reputation in the industry is ruined later, don't blame me for being heartless. I smiled faintly, deliberately feigning fear. Director Wang, are you threatening me? He immediately changed his tone, forcing a cordial smile. We need to talk reasonably, right? This time, you help us make a statement supporting Iris, and I won't hold a grudge. Furthermore, we can continue to cooperate in the future. I pretended to think for a moment, then asked, You mean in the future you'll still be willing to spend $20 million to buy the rights to my next work? He nodded, his face full of triumph. It's not impossible. All right then. I pulled a nearby laptop, taking only 3 minutes to draft a contractual intent. 5 minutes later, I printed it out and placed it on the table in front of him. Since that's the case, then Director Wang, please sign here. After all, supporting Iris carries no small risk for me. What if I get smeared and no one buys my copyrights later? What then? Director Wang's face instantly changed color, like a running LED sign. Finally, he gritted his teeth and said through clenched jaws, Vivian, you're quite formidable. Just wait and see who comes out looking better. Before leaving, he glared at me fiercely, then slammed the meeting room door so hard it felt like the entire building was shaking. The director, standing beside me, looked at me worriedly and softly advised. Director Wang has extensive connections in this industry. Moreover, he comes from a marketing background. You understand the tricks of show business, right? He relies on vast capital while you're just a novel writer. I don't think you should antagonize him. I nodded, signaling, Don't worry. Are you kidding? I'm a victim of school violence, for crying out loud. Am I supposed to be afraid of someone like him? That evening, I received a call from the class president. On the other end, his angry voice echoed, questioning me. He said that if I had the ability, why wouldn't I help Iris? Hearing his anxious and urgent tone, I couldn't help but feel there was something ambiguous between him and Iris. I just wondered if he knew anything about the relationship between Iris and Director Wang. After enduring his lengthy chiding, I interjected with a question. Do you know what's on the prairie? The other end was silent for a moment, then he asked in surprise, What? I calmly replied, Green grass. Vivian, I'm talking seriously with you, don't talk nonsense. he roared into the phone. I sighed helplessly. Sorry, my friend. This is all the help I can give. The rest you can figure out yourself. I didn't listen to his meaningless words anymore. I hung up, blocked his number, and my life returned to peace. But the storm online wasn't so easily calmed. Hugh Tin's film promotional campaign received nothing but negative comments for the first time. Netizens continuously brought up Iris's past bullying. When filming on set, Iris's eyes would always be filled with hatred, as if she wanted to devour me on the spot. When 1/5 of the film was shot, the production crew released the first teaser trailer to build hype. But as soon as the teaser was released, the online reaction was still unfavorable. Criticisms and stories of Iris's past continued to be the focal point. Less than 2 days later, the head of the film crew approached the scriptwriting team, stating that our qualifications did not meet the requirements and proposed terminating our collaboration. All right then. Editor Chen and I accepted a substantial contract compensation and happily packed our belongings to go home. Sitting back in the familiar office of the publishing house, where everything was much cleaner and brighter than the suffocating atmosphere on set, I felt a sense of relief. Editor Chen leaned back in her chair, took a sip of fragrant tea, and casually remarked, "They truly are a bunch of lunatics. I was tired of serving them a long time ago." Then, her voice filled with worry, she urged, "Vivian, quickly, check the trending topics." I opened my phone, and I was at the top of the entertainment trending list. The trending topic was an announcement from the Hugh Tin film crew, stating that during my time as a scriptwriter, I had abused my personal position to bully and suppress the secondary lead actress, Iris. The announcement even revealed my identity as the original author, Autumn Wood. The online community immediately exploded, swarming like flies to blood. The bully gets bullied back. The former victim, once in power, becomes a bully. Contradictory, reverse narratives are always a favorite among netizens. Building up and then tearing down an idol had become a familiar form of entertainment for many. I knew exactly what they were planning. Since I refused to cooperate in whitewashing Iris, they decided to drag me down, turning me into a stepping stone for her, while simultaneously increasing the film's buzz. Director Wang, with his seasoned marketing experience, fully understood that notoriety was also fame. As long as there were views, data was still data. Iris seized the opportunity, appearing on a live stream looking pitiful, tears welling in her eyes. She didn't forget to reveal one side of her face, swollen, and while crying, she recounted how I, the original author, had forced the director to reshoot her crying scene more than 10 times on set. In less than half a day, the hashtag #IrisBulletOnset shot straight to #1 on the trending list. This strategy indeed brought her countless views and attention. Seeing her so pitiful, quite a few netizens began to defend her. Even if she made mistakes, she suffered enough punishment. Why is she still being humiliated on set like this? An actress getting her face swollen from being hit, how malicious must one be to do such a thing? What if she's the author? Isn't this just bullying others? Director Wang's online troll army, having been waiting for a long time, quickly jumped into action, spamming countless abusive comments under my account. Not stopping there, some even impersonated book fans to stir up public opinion, declaring their disappointment in my character. I ignored it all, not even bothering to lock the comments, letting them attack freely. The situation escalated, and a few short minutes of a trailer weren't enough to satisfy Iris's fans. They began searching for more evidence, looking for proof that I suppressed her on set. Soon enough, someone came forward, accusing me of abusing my authority as a scriptwriter to transfer all of Iris's climactic scenes to another actress. The evidence presented was that many of Iris's bullied scenes had not appeared in the trailer, leading to the conclusion that I had deliberately edited the trailer to exact personal revenge and denied her an opportunity to appear. Her fans rushed to the film crew, demanding the release of all filmed footage. Iris's efforts and sacrifices cannot be wasted. The film crew needs to be fair to all actors. We demand an explanation. The wave of attacks aimed at me intensified, with accusations that I abused my authority to betray the film crew, who had spent a large sum of money to buy the copyright from me. I endured intense public criticism. Even my supportive readers were mercilessly attacked. Meanwhile, Iris posted images showing her in a very relaxed mood on social media. I just smiled, secretly hoping she would always keep that cheerful look. Not long after, the film's official Weibo page unexpectedly posted a short video. Netizens were incredibly surprised by the film crew's swift response. Iris's fans immediately flooded the comments, threatening to take revenge on me. However, the content of the video left everyone stunned. The video showed the director frowning, his tone dissatisfied. Iris's expression in the close-up shot is too strange, completely unfitting for the character's emotions. Let's do it again. Iris stood nearby, her voice pouting. Director, we've shot this so many times, my face is all red. The director looked annoyed. Using a stand-in forever isn't a solution. Can you do it? Instead of adjusting her attitude, Iris grew irritated, her tone sharp. Director, listen to me, don't go too far. If my face gets ruined, 10 people like you won't be able to compensate. Haven't you seen what happened to my old classmate? Just an original author, and she dared to make me angry. I still had the whole film crew kicked out. The director was so enraged he slammed the script onto the table. Just then, Director Wang walked over from a distance, embracing Iris, his face full of protectiveness. Director Lee, Iris is right. Just go along with her. With my capabilities, no matter how the film turns out, I can still promote it to be famous. He then took the opportunity to criticize me. I advise you all not to follow Vivian's example. She's been favored but doesn't appreciate it, can't distinguish who the real money backer is. If she dares to defy me, I'll make sure she can never raise her head in this industry again. The video ended there. Iris's fans were completely silent, not understanding what was happening. They thought this video was released to defeat me, but it ended up self-sabotaging her instead. They wondered if the film crew had multiple personalities. The leaked behind-the-scenes video infuriated Director Wang, the project director. He immediately stormed into the media room, growling, demanding to know the source of the incident. Not receiving a satisfactory answer, he immediately called me, his tone threatening. You know that revealing unauthorized footage is a serious violation of regulations, don't you? He shouted. I calmly replied, my father gave permission. A moment of silence. Director Wang asked in surprise, who is your father? I smiled, you guess. The next day, Director Wang received a termination notice from Hugh Tin Company, citing abuse of power, personal gain, and improper relations with an actress. Simultaneously, the company announced the restart of the project, removing Iris. Losing her strong backing, her fanatical fan base and online troll army disintegrated. Old stories about her bullying me in school were resurrected, spreading rapidly online. The truth was revealed. The chairman of Hugh Tin's board of directors was my father. Iris's career path officially closed. The hashtag #Iris's downfall became a hot trend on social media for a long time afterward. Her collapse was swift and comprehensive. Wang Ba, along with Iris, suffered severe consequences for their wrongdoings. The power behind me quickly and thoroughly resolved all issues. News of the young actress's sudden downfall, which caused a stir in public opinion, quickly reached editor Chen. She chuckled, sipping her tea, and exclaimed, "What a short career! It ended before it even had a chance to shine." This incident also led to a sincere apology from my father. He admitted to shortcomings in his parenting, which caused me to suffer unnecessary pain in my childhood. However, I never resented him. My parents' divorce, my father's difficult single life, and his long business trips had unintentionally created a distance between us. Our father-daughter bond wasn't fully nurtured, and I understood that. Fortunately, after I graduated from high school, our family life gradually stabilized. My father spent more time with me, healing the wounds in my heart. Many readers commented that my writing style visibly changed after I entered university, becoming more calm, confident, and mature. I believe that this growth largely came from my family's love and support. Through this, I also want to send a strong call to the community. Let's unite to condemn and prevent school violence. At my book launch, a question from a reporter put me in the spotlight. You chose the pen name Autumn Wood. What does that mean? I held the microphone, my voice gentle but full of emotion. I chose Autumn Wood because I believe that every child is like a tiny, fragile sprout. The journey of growing up is full of thorns, but in the end, they can all grow into resilient, towering trees. My gaze swept across each radiant, hopeful face in the audience. If you encounter difficulties or stumble on life's path, remember never to give up, because ahead there is still sunshine, gentle rain, and flower-strewn paths. Walk steadily, one step at a time, towards a bright future. I took a deep breath and smiled. I wish every child in this world a beautiful life, soaring high through the sky, overcoming all difficulties and continuously moving forward.